Morning, guys. How is everybody? Happy Monday. Hello. How is everyone? Hey, Brittany. Welcome to the morning live, guys. I am back. We are doing Badass Habits. Good Magical Monday. Yay. Welcome in. Holy crap. Y'all just keep coming in. Happy Monday. Welcome to the morning live. We are doing Badass Habits today. We are talking about how to create the life that you want and by changing habits. Can't post a link to that book. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, for those who don't know, my name is Marci. I am a empowerment coach, a manifestation coach, a tarot reader, all the above. So, my morning lives are usually just motivational. We go over different ways in order to create your life the way that you want it. We are going to be talking about changing your habits, creating proper habits to be more aligned with the person that you want to be. I do lives where I do tarot readings as well. Brittany down below, Coffee's wife, follow her too because we usually go together, and we do tarot readings, and we're here to help you find the course that you need in order to become the person that you want to be, to create the life that you want. So our tarot readings are a little bit different than most people out there. But like I said, today in the mornings we do motivational. We talk about books. We talk about different ways to manifest the life that you truly do want. So stick around if that interests you. Thanks for tapping the screen, guys. I appreciate it. No fluff and stuff. That's right. We get right to the point. We get right to what do you need to know and what do you need to do in order to create the life that you want. And we help you in manifesting that too. So we help guide you through that. If you're interested in a private reading, you can check out the link in my bio. I don't think my scheduler is working right now, but you can message me. You can join my Facebook group. It's in my bio. That's where you find a lot of our information about classes, and different ways to contact me in order to set that up. I do coaching, one-on-one coaching for manifestation, that if you're interested in that as well. Thank you for the panda, Edna. I appreciate that. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions before we get started, let me know. Yes, thank you for the support. So for those who don't know, I used to do this morning live a couple months ago, and we have gone through all the Badass series. This is the last book of that series, and we will be moving on to other books as well. But right now we are starting with this one, Badass Habits. I have been doing some research in regards to habits. I mean, because we all have bad habits that we want to quote unquote break, right? You can't really break a habit. Okay, you can shift it, you can change it, right? And I was watching some TikToks the other day, and what it is you have a trigger or a cue, right? And then you have a routine, and then you have a reward. So in that, in order to change a habit, you have to change the routine. You have to change what you do. Okay, you have a trigger or that cue, and you have to change what you do to get the reward. So, one example that was shared was if you snooze your alarm. Okay, the cue is your alarm goes off. Ooh, let me go on Do Not Disturb right now before that gets started. Before I get phone calls. So you did that this morning. Me too. So I have the habit of snoozing my alarm. And so this girl on TikTok, I have to find, I followed her. She's one of my recent follows in my following list. But she says instead of reaching to snooze your alarm, have like a glass of water. and reach for that glass of water, sit up, and you're changing that habit. Instead of hitting snooze, you're grabbing that glass of water. So we want to change the routine, right? We want to change what we do. So, and I've done this before, and I'm just kind of all putting it all together. Like a couple years ago, well, probably like 5-6 years ago, I did the Whole30 diet. If you don't know what it is, you can Google it. So it's all about changing, like taking sugars and processed foods, breads, all of that, alcohol, all of that out of your diet in order to reduce inflammation. It's amazing. It is not meant to be a long-term thing. It is literally to help reset your body. But that was one of the things I learned. So when we have the craving, right? We get a craving for sugar. We reach for a candy bar, or we reach for, a soda or whatever. I like bread too much, right? But you made a list, and you made your routine different. So like if it was, I wanted a soda, right? I would instead either call a friend and break that habit, so to speak, right? Break that want and distract myself from wanting that sugar. Or I would go for a 5-minute walk, because it doesn't take long to create something new, right? A lot of people say it takes 3 weeks to create a new habit or break a habit or whatever it is. And that's really all it does take, but it also takes consistency, right? Because if you've ever quit smoking, or if you ever quit drinking soda, like there are things that trigger you that doesn't always happen in a 3-week span. So you have to be cognizant, you have to be present. He wants more. Thanks for the reminder. I have my coffee right here. Well, I mean, I can't say anything. My kid drinks coffee. Both my kids drink coffee all the time. So, good morning, Indigo. So yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing, especially with neuro spicy kids. It helps Trent. He'll have 5 cups a day. That's hilarious. Probably. So, getting into the book, again, we are going to be doing Badass Habits by Jen Sincero. I'm trying to keep this live to an hour. Okay, so I want to spend like the first half hour kind of reading and going over some things, and then having a discussion. So I hope you guys will join me in that as well. But this is a great way to really look at how you can change your life. Okay, if you haven't read any of Jen Sincero's badass books, I highly suggest them. She writes in a way that I connect with. She swears, she's very blunt, and I like that. She's not stiff, okay? She's very open, and I've learned a lot through her books. I definitely admire her. I definitely suggest anybody who wants to learn how to change who they are or where they want to go, check her out, because she shares her story very openly. Yes, you will be getting that call back. You know that, Brittany. So I'm just going to start today by just reading the introduction, okay? We tried to start this book back in January, and a couple things happened in my life, and I had to stop the morning motivations. But this book has a lot in it, okay? So that's why I want to just break it down slowly and go over it in a way that we're not overwhelming ourselves, because there is a lot of information in this book. So she starts out, when I first decided to write a book about habits, the topic seemed like such a natural follow-up to the other badass books. In the original You Are a Badass, I mentioned this little truism. Our thoughts become words, our words become our beliefs, and our beliefs become our habits, and our habits become our realities. Habits are the only piece of the equation I had yet to delve into deeply, and I couldn't wait to get cracking. That is, until the following conversation with myself crawled up and sat on my chest. Me. Habits, of course. Why, they're the very sculptors of our reality. I'm going to write the fuck out of this book. Excuse me, TikTok. I'm just reading. Me enjoying a tower of onion rings a few days after giving up fried food. Are we going to write about how to purchase a gym membership and never use it? Or how to stop cursing? Because we could write the fuck out of that. Me. Oh my god, that's so true. My habits suck. What the hell am I thinking? I have the self-discipline of a toddler. Right? Here are the call-outs, right? I began listing all of the reasons why I was unqualified, unable, and unauthorized to write this book. How I was about to tank my brand, insult my readers, and inspire my publisher to ask for its money back. Then I realized, oh look, I'm excelling at a habit right now. That most unsavory of human habits. Focusing on the negative. I'm blowing past the fact that I haven't touched a cigarette in over 2 decades, even though I love smoking more than I love most people. That I'm a highly accomplished flosser, hydrator, gratituder, writer, bed maker, meditator, and show up on timer. And that I'll take a backpack and a high alpine trail over a stinky gym any day. Cursing and fried food, however, there's still work to be done around cursing and fried food. I bring this up because if you're reading this book with any skepticism about your stick to itness when it comes to habits, I want to remind you that nobody is perfect and that we really do anything we set our minds to, including things we fake set our minds to in the past. And that we all tend to sell ourselves short and focus on our failures instead of celebrating our victories. Even people who are successful beyond belief admit to occasionally letting negativity and feelings of inadequacy push them around. I've heard some say that every once in a while, they'll forget how much they love what they do. Ignore the standing ovations and rave reviews they receive from the outside world, and focus all their attention on that one stink bomb hater on Instagram who thinks they suck. Hand him the bullhorn and let his opinion drown out the cheering crowds. I think we've all done that, right? We all have, gotten to a place and we're like, but it's still not enough. I'm still not there. There's still people who disbelieve me, who don't like me, who want to put me down. And you'll always have that. All the time. There's going to be haters. And to me, when those haters show up, it just shows that you're on the right path. And it shows that you need to tap more into your strength and keep pushing and keep knowing that it doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter. They're not living your life. And one thing that I love to say is if they don't fall under the 3 F's, it doesn't matter. If you're not feeding me, financing me, or fucking me, your opinion doesn't matter. Okay? So always keep that in mind. Because if they're not part of your life and they're not your partner, they're not, they're not falling under those 3 F's, their opinion doesn't matter. So always keep that in mind. Mastering the powerful, positive mindset. I have one person to worry about for it, right? Mastering the powerful, positive mindset that's required to keep upping your habit game is all about staying aware. Shifting your focus when you catch yourself wandering down the woe is me lane. and consciously thinking thoughts that are aligned with where you want to go and who you want to become. When it comes to building great habits, ditching lousy ones, your commitment to staying focused on who you're becoming, regardless of where you are or who you are right now, is the mightiest power you got. Contrary to popular belief, habits are more about who you're being than what you're doing. One of the main reasons we don't stick to the habits we'd love to adopt or permanently give the heave-ho to the habits we'd love to lose is that we focus on taking action, which is important, but we don't get on board emotionally and mentally, which is more important. Then, when our new habit gets challenging or boring, a favorite pastime of most habits, thanks to the fact that they're so repetitive, we abandon them for something easier or something more fun or something that offers more immediate gratification or something that tastes really good with ketchup on it. For example, let's say you've tried over and over to break your habit of spending more than you make. You've got a well-paying job and you put part of your paycheck towards your credit card bill and little into your savings account, and you carefully map out your budget each month. Then, in spite of your careful planning, you find yourself going on trips and forensically investigating furniture sales and jovially shouting, "Drinks are on me." And before you know it, your savings account is a ghost town. And you're pleading on the phone with Pat at the collections agency again. Chances are excellent that deep down you've scared to stop overspending because you're trying to fill an emotional hole with stuff and experience. Or maybe you've come from a family full of spenders and you subconsciously worry you'll be judged and or abandoned by them if you break with tradition and get your financial act together. It's essential when building good habits to focus on the whole enchilada: your head, your heart, and your hands. Otherwise, the mediating stops. The fingernails start being bitten again. Your calm, sober response at yet another passive-aggressive family gathering turns into, "All right, I've had enough. Who wants to play Tequila Truth or Dare?" And the enchiladas, right? My hope is that with this book offers some fresh perspectives and proven habit-forming processes and helps you dethrone whatever obstacles you've allowed to lord over you in the past. I also hope that it makes the whole habit building and busting experience easier by boiling down a seemingly complex process and doiling it out with manageable bite-sized exercises that you implement one day at a time. I want you to get rolling and figure out which tools work best for you so you can start seeing real results, the kind of results you've yet to behold that actually stick around. I'm a coach, not a scientist. So while ensmarting you is a goal, nothing gets me all teary-eyed and verklempt like the hallelujah of a dream realized. You see that black belt you just karate'd your way into? You did that. Here, hold my snacks. I got to get a picture of this. I'll start by briefly explaining what habits are and how they work. I'll help you become aware of the habits you've already got, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and figure out which ones have to go, which new ones you'd like to create, and who you need to start being in order to pull all of this off. I'll also get you good at setting no-nonsense boundaries so you can alert your tribe and yourself that your needs are now a priority, that you're creating the space emotionally and physically to allow yourself to fully flourish. And that, yes, this being good at setting boundaries thing is a habit you're going to keep, perhaps amid the indignant screams and protests of all those who are being booted out of first place. Once you've got your heart and head on board, I'll help you pick one clearly defined habit to work on for the rest of the book. I'll walk you through a powerful 21-step process to either anchor in your new habit or permanently banish an old one. Depending on what you choose, ideally you'll take the process day by day over the course of 3 weeks in order to keep the beast of overwhelm at bay. Give your new habit time to take hold and keep the work as interesting as possible. The goal here is to have an interactive experience. I want you to hit the ground running and start becoming the person you're excited to become. While you're reading this book, instead of just becoming someone who now has a lot more information about what habits are, or who understands the science behind how habits work, or who knows how it feels to fall asleep with a book about habits lying on your face. Please get a new notebook and dedicate it exclusively to work we're about to do, no grocery list, and start cultivating your new habit with a clean slate, focusing on the exciting new life that awaits you, as opposed to letting your failures you've experienced in the past cloud your confidence. Who you desire to become is not only available to you, but you're meant to become the upgraded version of yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the desire in the first place. You just got new books. And you sure as hell wouldn't be bothering with this book. Trust that each new day holds untold possibilities, and remember, in every moment, you have the profound ability to make choices that will completely change your habits and your reality, either right away or over time. Making powerful, life-altering choices is simply a habit that you've already started mastering. And this is this is a success story from Julie. Gave up being a lazy ass and got in shape. She's 60, by the way. My doctor told me I was headed for type 2 diabetes and that I needed to move more and try to lose some weight. I didn't like the sound of needing to be on meds my whole life, and I also didn't like having a solid 10 to 15 pounds of extra blub in my club. Good morning, Caroline. So I decided that rain or shine, I could manage to exercise every morning before work on a yoga mat in my living room for at least 15 minutes. How hard is that to do for my health? I found a great online workout that was a combo of yoga, stretching, muscle strength, and cardio. Every morning I pulled that yoga mat out of the closet, and I found that after stretching and doing some basic yoga moves, I was awake enough to do a little more. I did some strength training exercise using my own body weight and thought, geez, if I weighed less, it wouldn't be so hard to hoist my petard off this mat. I just didn't do it this weekend. Right? 3 push-ups led to 5 to 10, and now my daily routine is about 30 minutes total. As soon as I started doing this, I began to feel better about myself. The thrills from the little wins keep you rolling towards victory. I felt stronger. It kept me motivated, and now look forward to doing my workout at least 5 days a week. At the same time, I started an online diet and health program that taught me about the psychology of why I eat and how to change my lifelong habit. This was an eye-opener. Mindless eating versus mindful eating was huge. I learned to actually look at the food I was eating, not at TV, to take a moment between bites and really taste what I was eating, not just chuck it down my gullet. I also learned to understand my personal hunger scale. When I wanted something to eat, I would ask myself, am I actually hungry or just bored? Stressed out, sad, or agitated? Another tip was not waiting until I was at code red level starving on my hunger scale, because that means you grab anything from a vending machine or dive into the leftover donuts from the morning meeting. I learned other strategies and hacks. A big one was to always have healthy, yummy snacks in my bag, at work and at home. If you're planning to eat dinner out, go online and look at the menu ahead of time and figure out what the best choice is and stick with it. Because otherwise, you'll see what everyone else is ordering and fly off the calorie rails. The other big change of behavior for me was to start writing down everything I ate every day to be more mindful of what I was eating, and weighing myself every day. Sounds hideous, but it worked. It's now 2 years later. I've lost 15 pounds, albeit slowly, but more importantly, I've kept it off. I continue to weigh myself every day and track my daily food. I have learned that this is what works for me. Of course, there are days I go way over my calorie target for the day, But I don't get upset about it. I just adjust the next day. Believe me, I love food, and I still eat what I want. I just monitor my portion sizes and always try to tap into mindful eating, not mindless eating. It's fine. I just eat what's on my husband's plate, right? Exactly. So that's the focus, is to really be aware of what your habits are. Whether you want to focus on your health, whether you want to focus on, you know, your money, whether you want to focus on learning a new skill, right? You have to look at how you are, and you have to be very blunt with yourself. Okay? So I was doing my gratitude journal while you were reading. I love it. I love it. See, Brittany's been working on habits. She started a yoga routine. She started writing in a journal each morning. And I find that fabulous. I mean, you can add new things. Just don't overwhelm yourself. Take it little bit by little bit. Like whether you want to add the yoga routine, start off with 5-10 minutes each morning. It's not overwhelming, right? You're like, I could do 5 minutes. I could do 10 minutes. Maybe do a meditation. You don't have to dive right into like physical activity. The quote for the week is, when life gives you lemons, say thank you and keep them because, hey, free lemons. Yes. Yes. Because you can turn those lemons into anything. You could turn it into a lemon meringue pie. You can turn it into, tequila with the shot of lime or whatever. I don't know. I don't drink. So, we want to be honest with ourselves. We want to really take a look at who we are. Just look at yourself today. Like, be present. Okay? Listen to the way that you're talking to yourself. Listen to what you say about yourself. Listen to how you doubt you can do anything. Pay attention to the negativity that surrounds you. Maybe you are feeling like you want to lose some weight, right? Or you just don't have the energy that you wish you had. We have to start with our habits. We have to look at, okay, so what do I do? It could be that we want to really pay attention with our money. How are we spending our money? We want to be more conscious of it. Maybe we want to make more of it. Well, maybe to make more of it, we need to pay attention to how we're spending it. Do we need to be spending it like we're spending it? And I'm not saying that you need to restrict yourself so bad. I think that puts us in the wrong mindset. But at the same time, maybe instead of spending, $25 a week on, something frivolous, put that $25 into an investment account. There's so many out there that you can start yourself, right? Change the habit. Instead of just mindless spending, be mindful. Be aware. That's where you want to make the change first and foremost, is be mindful of what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. That's how you manifest. You have to be mindful. You have to be aware of what you're doing and how you're, quote unquote, reacting. Prepaying bills. I know. One of my manifestations is I want to pay my bills a year in advance. I know things fluctuate and everything, but like I want to do that. I want to send a check to my electric company, my gas company, my water company, all of that, my cable and my phone, and just pay everything a year in advance. Just throw it out there. I don't have to worry about it. Whether I do that month by month, it doesn't matter. Like that is something that I'm manifesting. That is something I'm working towards. I meant to prepay $5. See, you're already in that mindset because you tried to prepay 10 months. Yourself was just like, your higher self was like, let's just do it. You're done. 10 months. 10 months in advance. 11 months. Almost a year. But, I mean, that's something essentially that, is a goal of mine as well. It's all good, Indigo. I understand. Thank you for being here. I know you're busy at work, about halfway through your workday, but yeah, be mindful of what it is that you do, and know where you want to be, know who you want to be, right? And then be mindful of what you're doing. Does it align, right? If we want to be wealthy, but we're not aware of how we're spending or what we're doing or what we're earning, how are we to know what wealthy means? Right? We have to be aware and be present in order to understand whether we are really the person we desire to be. And I talk a lot about this, when we talk about manifesting. We go to the end, right? We imagine that we have what we want already. We are who we want to be already. And then we have to look at ourselves and say, okay, does this match? You want to talk about relationships. You want to be in a healthy, loving relationship. What does that look like? Right? Is that you texting your significant other 24/7? Where are you? What are you doing? No. Right? That's usually indicating of, I'm not saying that you can't have that. Obviously, you could have that conversation back and forth. But like, if you're not getting responses and you're being insecure, right? That's not being a secure, in a healthy, loving relationship. That's in a very insecure spot. So you have to look at yourself. Okay, how would I react differently if I knew I had this relationship that I wanted? If I knew I had it already, would I be freaking out if he didn't respond back to me in 5 minutes, 10 minutes? You have to be very aware of what you're doing. It's having a bite of his food because he made his look better than mine. Right? So, apply this today. Be mindful of the way that you react to things. First and foremost, who do you want to be? Decide that. Decide what you want to change, right? Decide what it is that you want to work towards. What is it that you want? You should never be sitting there saying, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. Okay, what is it that you do want? What is it that you do want? That is your first step. What is it that you do want? What do you want to change? It's when he completely changes his outfit because you need his jacket and it's cold. Yes. Aww, I love that. I love that for you, Caroline. So we want to look at that. I just noticed like everybody's name has changed from their username to their whatever they have. So like Caroline, your whole name's up there. Brittany just says Brittany. That's amazing. And they had this a couple months ago, but I lost it. There's Lindsay. So, good morning, sweetheart. So, first and foremost, who do you want to be? What do you want to change? What do you want to bring, into your life now? What does that look like? Right? So maybe you want to quit smoking. Okay, so now you want to be a non-smoker. What does that look like? How do you feel? How's it different than what you are today? What habits do you have that you need to change? Right? Maybe you reach for that cigarette when you're nervous. Or maybe you reach for that cigarette after, eating. I'm a smoker, so I'm going with this, right? One of the biggest things smokers do is after they finish eating, they have a cigarette. Hi, Haley, how are you? So instead of reaching for that cigarette after completing your meal, maybe you go for a walk. Break that habit. Change it. Do something different. Why do we do this? Yes. Yes, and after bedtime. Yes, after bedtime. After fun time, right? I called it dessert when I smoked. Yes, right? So instead, do something different. Change it. Change the routine, right? There's that cue. I just finished dinner. What do? I reach for my cigarette. Nope. Now we're reaching for a glass of water, or we're gonna go, go for a walk, or we're changing that habit, right? So then we get the reward, because the reward is that we feel relaxed, right? We feel so it's the same thing. You can have that same reward after a 5-minute walk. You can feel relaxed, right? We have to look at the habits differently. We have to look at what is our cue, what is our reward. We know what the habit is, right? So if there's a habit you want to break, right? Maybe I don't know, give me a different habit that somebody may want to break. It could be spending too much, right? So what's the trigger that makes you spend, right? Maybe you just get excited and you get on Amazon and you're like, oh, I want this, and this. And next thing you know, your whole cart's full and you just spent $150 on nothing, really. My iced macchiatos, eating unhealthy. Okay, so let's go with, well, we can do both, actually. 3 days is as much, $15 a day. Okay, so let's go with that. What is the cue that makes you want that iced macchiato? What triggers you to purchase that 3 times a day? You need mushroom coffee, yes. Okay, Lindsay, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. I know. Enjoy your run. So, if you can figure out the trigger and what the reward is of that. Brittany was drinking 5 to 6 cups of coffee a day and wanted to make a change. So she switched, right? She went and got mushroom coffee. And, I mean, she can tell her whole situation about that. But she changed what she drank, too. And she has 1 cup of coffee a day. So, I don't know all the benefits of the mushroom coffee. She does. She's an affiliate for them, and she's knocking it out of the park. So that could be something that you look into. Tired and not motivated. Reward coffee makes me happy. The energy. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Maybe you're like, oh, like I'm feeling a little sluggish. Let me go get some coffee. Let me go get that iced macchiato, right? What if instead you took a walk or a run, like a quick run, to kind of get that movement, right? Just take it could be something like that. It could be changing the drink. I mean, if you want to do a healthy habit, obviously you're not going to go reach for a Red Bull, right? Because that's not healthy either. But we want to change into a different habit. Bye, Haley. Have a great day, sweetheart. So, try, like, if you want to break spending that money on iced coffee, there's so many different things that you can do, right? Is it the spending that you want to change, or is it the coffee habit? Trying the mud water. I know Brittany has had incredible success with her mushroom coffee. But yeah, I guess that's really what you need to decide. Is it the spending the money that you want to break, or is it the coffee habit, or is it both? Right? If you want to stop spending the money, you could bring something to work to make coffee, right? Make your own iced coffee, iced macchiato. I mean, yes, it's going to be an investment up front, but if you want to try something different, right? If you want to try a different drink that's going to help you not have that much caffeine, you might look into the mud water or the mushroom coffee or whatever. So it could be anything. It's being realistic about how can I change it, right? And again, you're going to have some sort of investment, whether it's switching to a different way, whether you're bringing your stuff to work to make it, or at home, or you do the mud water or whatever. But you have to be able to see where you want to change, and then we move there, and then we change that. So let's say you do decide to do the mushroom coffee, or you do the mud water, or whatever it is, right? So when you have that trigger of I'm feeling a little sluggish, I don't want to spend this money, right? I already put in an investment in whatever it is, right? So now instead of going to the Starbies, we're now going to, the break room or our kitchen, and we're making something instead. And we go from there, right? We're getting the same reward, maybe even something better. And then, we need to rinse and repeat. Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to get rid of coffee altogether, right, during the day, maybe instead of going to get a coffee, we're doing a lap around the store, or we're going outside and we're doing a lap around the building, or whatever, just to kind of get out of that. And that's going to boost your energy too. It may be a little hard at first, but you're going to see that change too. Yes. You need to find a space. You don't feel comfortable in the house. And that's perfectly understandable. Yeah, my at home coffee this winter was amazing. Brittany got me this frother, and incredible with that, and my cocoa maker, my cocoa motion, loved it. That was for the hot cocoa. Found it here. Mine at my other house was broken, but and yeah, I mean, as far as doing yoga, it could just be something that you do on the beach or in a park or whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, you have to find a space where you're comfortable. Um, Again, like, that's implementing a new habit, right? That's maybe we have to notice again, we're feeling sluggish instead of coffee. So maybe where you would buy one, you do a walk around, or you have the mushroom coffee or the mud water, right? And the next time that you would do it, we do a quick 5-minute yoga session. It could be something just as simple as stretching. So we just, you want to look at the different ways that you can change this, the different ways that you can really implement something different. Make sure the floor is dry so you don't slip. Yes. So yeah, so we want to look at our habits today. We want to look at things that we would really like to change or do differently, or maybe there's something that you're like, oh, I really want to do this, right? It could be, you know what, I want to start my own business, or I want to do a side hustle, but I don't know where or what, right? Just mark a time, right? Somewhere in your schedule you can fit 20, 30 minutes of looking at things for a side hustle, right? And then you can decide where you want to go from that. You know, until you get that idea, or that that bright idea, that side hustle you want to move into. Sorry, I'm like kind of tripping over my words right now. But start mapping out time for yourself that is dedicated to creating a business that you want. Start doing that. Yeah, exactly. You could do a nighttime yoga. Absolutely. So, like, for instance, a lot of people know that I was babysitting my niece. My other niece is now home from college, so she is babysitting her now. So now I have, like, before I would come in, I would do things in the morning. I would go babysit, and then my kids were home from work or from school and all of that. So, like, I just didn't feel like I could get into a flow. So now I have my schedule set. I wake up, I do what I need to do. I do my meditation, my yoga if I want to. I come on here. After here, I do some cleaning. After that, I do some work. And I'm working on a lot of different things in the background. So depending on the day, depends on what I'm focusing on. So it could be video making, it could be, all of that. It could be scheduling out tarot readings, which I need to get with Brittany and see if we want to do something today, maybe early afternoon. I don't know. I'm feeling like switching it up. The nighttime lives are just not vibing with us for some reason. It's just not working. So I want to switch it up. So maybe we can try something like early afternoon. And so, good. Awesome. And so, like trying to figure out what works for you, finding a flow and finding and committing to that. So that's where I'm at now that I have more allotted time. Before I had like 2 hours before I had to go to work, right? And then, like, if you're a parent, once your kids are home, it's like it's hard to really try to commit to time when my kids come home from school. I usually either have to run them more places, get dinner done, check for homework, all of that. And it just, I have a hard time refocusing. So for me, it's best when nobody is here, no interruptions, no distractions. And yes, I know distractions will happen and all of that, but I'd rather have that time and really get everything I can done when I'm not distracted, whether it's cleaning, whether it's working, whether it's creating. It's just easier for me without distractions. I miss what Indigo said. Yeah, true. I finally decided to write for 30 minutes a day. That's awesome, Indigo. I love that. That is amazing. I want to know what you're writing about, but if you want to ever share. And that's the other thing, too. I need to get my other books published. I'm I think the tarot course is ready to be released. I have to go over the last video today. And once that is, I will be uploading the tarot journal and figuring out where all of these videos are going for the course. So I'm very excited about that. I have another journal, another planner coming out. I also have books that are ready to be published that I just need to get my ass on and publish them. Same, but I just didn't want to be. Oh yeah, you'll have it done. Yeah, you'll have it done in ninja class. It's not that long of a book. I need to put that on my link tree. I keep saying that. I just need to do it. Or at least my author's page, since I'll have a couple more coming out. So, yeah, The Magic Blanket on Amazon is my book. I released it over 2 years ago. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then I have a couple other ones that are ready to get published. I have some more editing to do on a couple of them. But yeah, I mean, you have said that for almost a year. Yeah, you're right. And I have. But now is time. I'm kicking myself in gear to get it done. The one book that I have, it's actually been written for 2 years. I'll just be upfront and honest with you guys. It's been written for almost 2 years now. I started in May of 2021. I finished it by July 1st of 2021. And yeah, it's been sitting there to be edited. But I have a couple other books that I have ready to go as well. That one, though, the one that has been sitting in my drafts for 2 years, is really personal and really, it was one of the most difficult things for me to write. It's very into my world. And I feel like that's part of the reason why I keep putting that one off. Because it's very raw. It's very real. And it's an open door to my whole life. A lot of some things, a lot of it only a few people really know. And it's very exposing. So, yeah, that until I feel, I don't know why I'm holding myself back on that book. It's already written, but I feel like it's more than just my story. Even though it's my version, it's more than just my story, and I feel like it's a lot to release. Yeah, it does. It takes a lot to start writing it. Once you get into the flow of it, it just all kind of like vomits out. And then you look back and you're like, wow, first off, who wants to read this, right? This is our judgmental side coming through. Second off, that comes through is, what will people think? Again, not that we need to care what others think, but it's there. It's a natural reaction. And then we look at it and we're like, what the fuck was I thinking? Right? Like, it's the biggest, to me, it's been one of the biggest shadow works that I've ever had. And then to sit there and release it and expose myself for anybody and everybody to read if they so choose, it's a lot. Will Marci have a pen name? Maybe. Honestly. I mean, I do have one because, I use my regular name for the manifestation side, for the coaching side, for the reality side, but I also have written books that are, romance or fantasy or whatever you want to call it, right? And those would be under my pen name when they get released too. But, yeah. So that one could easily turn into being under a pen name too. Just because it's a lot. It's soul bearing. And whew, yeah. Like, I get anxiety just thinking about people reading that. So anyways, off that subject, back to what we need to focus on today, and that is being aware of the habits that we already have. Noticing what it is that we want to change. um, take the time today to really think about the person that you want to be and what habits that you may already have that will get you there, but where are you stumbling? What habits are keeping you from becoming the person you want to be? Maybe, you want to be a person who writes all the time and you have trouble, right? Or you can't get into the habit of writing consistently. Or anything like that. Where are you stumbling? What do you want to change? What in your life do you want to change? And what does it look like? So with that, I know we're a little early on the hour, but I'm going to end the live here. I will be back tomorrow. We'll be diving into chapter 1. But yeah, take the time today to really look at yourself. Yes, this is homework. Really look at yourself today and see what it is that you want to change and what habits can you change to get you there. Right? What's holding you back from getting there? What habits do you need to enforce or remove? Yes, I love you guys. All right, you guys have a fabulous, magical Monday. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And perhaps Brittany and I will be seeing you later on this afternoon. I'm not sure what time yet. But if you want to do a tarot reading, we'll be on later. All right, love you guys. Have a great day.